Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Blue Podcast, the first Blue Podcast of 2024. Woo!
Woo!
Woo! Welcome to the actual Blue Podcast. As you can see, I'm not Tom. This is Henry here hosting this first one of 2024. I'm afraid Tom couldn't make it today, but you have got me, and you've got my pal Lloyd here as well.
Yep. Hello, everybody. How are we?
Fantastic.
Well?
Yes. Let us know down below if you're all feeling well and you want a good Christmas and New Year. But let's get into today's episode and today's topic, which is going to be based around the team of the year. As of course, 2023 has come to a close. Everyone's now speculating and talking and discussing who played best this year, just gone, and who's done the best and who deserves to be in the team of the year. So we're going to kick things off as to why this topic is going to come about for us by talking about the EAFC 24 Team of the Year nominees, which have just been released. And I've got them up on the screen here, and Lloyd's got them up as well. I'm going to start, Lloyd, by just saying, I know we've had a terrible back end of the year, but surely at least one Man United player deserves to be in a nominees list.
Yeah, no, I'm quite surprised at that because obviously we had a talk on the Red Show about our end of year awards, and we had I hold Bruno Fernandes in high regard, and he's not even on this list, which baffled me quite a lot. So I'm quite surprised that not a single Man United player in there, considering won a Carabao Cup in February and then got to the FA Cup final, finished third last season. No, it's not going too well this year, but still, you would have expected at least one probably in there.
We don't talk about this year. Let's not talk about this year. But in my opinion, you have Onana should be a candidate because of his time at Inter Milan. You have Martinez, who deserves to be in there for his performances across all competitions for Man United last season, over some of the other people who we'll talk about in a second. Bruno Fernandes, and I'll also have Marcus Rashford in there because he scored one of the top goal scorers in the world last year. And none of them are even candidates. And I wouldn't mind it if he wasn't a candidate because big players have played better. My point is more, there are players in this list who didn't play better and still got in ahead, and it just feels unfair, in my opinion. So we'll go through the kind of nominees list here. I've got it up. So are you seriously telling me that Onana can't get in over the likes of Kobel from Dortmund or Samba? I know Samba's done well and got into the French squad at Lens, but seriously, better than Onana, who got to a Champions League final last year, won a Coppa Italia, and then, of course, got to a Champions League final as well?
Yeah, no, I do agree. I mean, Onana got to the Champions League final, as you said already, with Inter, did very well. Manchester United's been a bit up and down. I still think he's a good goalkeeper, and I think he'll come good because you don't lose all your talent in 6 months. I think it's just down to getting used to the team and getting used to the squad. It's like when De Gea first joined Manchester United all those years ago. Bit of a different age because he was a lot younger, but still, sometimes it takes time for players to adapt. And Onana's a good goalkeeper. I mean, with his feet, very good, decent shot stopper. I know he's let quite a few in. They probably shouldn't have done, but I think in the long run, I think it will be a good investment.
I mean, I do keep banging on about Man United players because it's so weird that none of them got in, apart from the women's team, which has one in the women's and zero in the men's. Mental. But it's just because there's some names on here that I'm a bit kind of perplexed about. Like I say, Samba, I don't know much about, but other than that, the goalkeepers I'm kind of fine with. Dante at Nice got in this list. Quarter at Fiorentina. I love a bit of Fiorentina. I love them. The purple shirt for the purple show, just saying. Who else on this list? Jesus Navas didn't do much last year. Gaia from Valencia didn't do much last year. And I'm just thinking some of those names like those just stand out as some odd choices to go in ahead of some other potential choices. Maybe not Man United, but somebody else. Lloyd, did you spot anybody in the kind of forwards or the midfielders that you thought stood out a little bit as a bit of a rogue shout?
I mean, I'm looking at it now and I'm seeing Mitoma's in there.
Yeah, I know, right? Mitoma,
which is crazy. It's absolutely crazy to me.
There are more Brighton players in this list than Man United players.
Wow. And I mean, they haven't even got their best player in there, who probably is Pascal Gross for me. I think he's instrumental for Brighton. He is one of the most underrated players in the division, and he's not in the list over Mitoma. Like, Mitoma's
Mitoma had a good year.
Player. Yeah, he's a good player, but like, should he be in there? I mean, Chiesa, like,
did nothing.
I don't know. Yeah,
he was okay, but again, if you were to put him in, it would have been last year when he won the Euros. Last year?
Yeah. Well, I think it was the year. I think it was the year before that.
It is the year before that. My mind is
just gone. See. No, this is the thing that I find with Chiesa, because he hasn't had the best time in the past 2 years, and of course, a lot of people they watch the Euros, don't they? Everyone watches the Euros, like as a football fan, if you're from Europe. So and he did well in that. So that's a lot of people's thoughts when they haven't watched him much at all. They still think, oh, you know what, he was great then. But yeah, since then he hasn't really kicked on.
He's done absolutely nothing. But then again, nobody at Juventus has done anything really.
No. Definitely not last season anyway.
Good God, with the points deduction and everything as well. That was a whole debacle. I have no idea how that happened. But I mean, there's a few other names in here that I'd just throw out. Taremi being a big one at Porto. I mean, Porto did well, but didn't win the league. I don't know if they won the cup. I didn't look into the cup. But again, being a top goal scorer, I don't even know if he was the top goal scorer, but I think he was. I don't think if he was, he doesn't deserve a Team of the Year nomination. In my opinion. Over Rashford. Really? Like,
I mean, I'm seeing Kangin Lee. Who's in there over Rashford. I'm like, come on. Come on, EA.
He earned his move to PSG. That's his reward, not getting a Team of the Year. Good God.
I mean, I don't know.
But seeing all this and seeing this kind of nightmare gave us the idea to kind of go through and see if we can pick our Team of the Year. So me and Lloyd have both gone away and gone through all the statistics and all the names. We've not gone with this list. We've made our own. We've not considered a list at all. We've just picked who we think deserves to be in. And then we're going to go through position by position and pick a Blue Show Team of the Year for 2023, and that'll be our official Team of the Year based on our thoughts. Lloyd, you excited? Ready to get going?
Yes, cannot wait because we did one a couple of weeks ago, but I have made 1 or 2 changes since then. So
of course, we did. The Red Show did put forward their thoughts on Team of the Year, but we're going to do an official one for the entire podcast. A lot of responsibility on us.
Yeah, a lot of weight on our shoulders. Yeah, so we better not mess it up.
Well, I've got big shoulders,
Well, yeah. No.
Cool. Well, let's kick things off. Let's kick things off with the goalkeeper position. I've gone through and I've made a list. I've got several candidates for this position. Lloyd, who did you consider?
Well, I mean, you look at a lot of goalkeepers throughout the year. They've done, very well. Obviously, Ederson for the treble. You've got to consider Manchester City players, obviously, because of how well they did. I mean, Ter Stegen had that year where Barca didn't concede that many goals at all in La Liga. They did quite well. I have been biased because I can't take my bias out with certain players. And one of them is Alisson for me, just because I watch him week in, week out. And he saves Liverpool so many times. And if it wasn't for him last season, I think Liverpool would have ended up like probably 9th or 10th rather than 5th because he saved that many points. So for me, I'm going to put Alisson forward as my choice. How about you?
He was not on my list, if I'm honest, mainly because you guys didn't win anything last year. That was my main concern. That was my main concern. All the people I've considered have won something this year? I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, I can imagine they probably have.
Yes, I think so. It depends who. I'll just double check. With the person I picked is the person who might not have won anything. But let me just double check. 2023. Nope, he did win something last year. Okay, cool. Right. So I've got 4 names on my list. Actually, no, there is one goalkeeper on here on my list who did not win a trophy last year, and I picked him based on his performances in the Champions League this year and in the Premier League last year, and that is Nick Pope. I put Nick Pope forward as my kind of 4th option.
Oh wow!
When I was looking for players, I was kind of like, well, how do I how do I do this? Because there's not any kind of record of just 2023 stats. So my main thought was I'll look at his stats in the Champions League last year and this year for most players, and then have a look at domestic and see what trophies were won and stuff like that. So, I mean, the main thing this year was just his performances in the Champions League. He's conceded the least number of goals, which is 5 out of in 5 games. He conceded 5 goals and made 26 saves in a Champions in a Champions League campaign. It's not the best number of saves, but it's the best number of saves from a top club. And if you also look at the Premier League statistics, it's the same thing there. Like Newcastle were conceded one of the fewest goals in the Premier League, so I thought he deserved a mention. The other people I considered were Edison. Again, won the treble. Didn't pick him because bias, and I hate him. And people are going to say this is biased as well, but it isn't. Onana deserves to be in there. Champions League final and a Coppa Italia win. One of the top players in the Champions League last season, made the top number of saves. Wasn't the least number of goals conceded, but it was one of the top 3. And kept the most clean sheets as well. So I think he, in the Champions League last year, that is. And this year in the Champions League, it was average, but it wasn't terrible. Like everyone letting those 2 free kicks were the main issue. But I still think he deserves to be in this list for his performances last year. But the guy that I went for was the guy who was the second best last season and one of the top goalkeepers this season as well. Won a Copa del Rey this year, and that is Thibaut Courtois.
Right, yeah.
So I think, of course, he hasn't played much this season because of his injury.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But made the second most number of saves and got the second bit highest number of clean sheets, playing fewer matches last year for Real Madrid because, of course, he did have that knock. But and then again, he won the Copa del Rey, and now Real Madrid are top of La Liga. It's hard. I know he missed a few games recently because of that injury that he's had in the back end, but the majority of the year, I think he's been a really top keeper, in my opinion. Consistent, because he had that wobble at the start of his career at Real Madrid, and then he seems to have settled down and become like a really solid goalkeeper. So he was the guy that I put into.
Yeah. No, I get that. It's just, I mean, obviously he's had an ACL injuries. I think it was end of August or end of September. I can't remember which one it was. So that was probably because he didn't cross my mind for that reason. But he's definitely a shout. He's a top goalkeeper.
I don't want to concede to Alisson just because he didn't win anything. That's why I wouldn't put Pope in. But I put him as candidate, but I wouldn't put him in. Because that lack of winning something.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm willing to concede that because he hasn't won anything. So,
do we want to go with Courtois? I mean, I put Courtois in, but do we want to consider Onana or who else did I talk about? There was somebody else.
You talked about Edison.
I don't want to put Edison in. Let's just do Onana. Let's do that.
We'll go with Courtois then.
Courtois.
We'll go with Thibaut.
So that's 1-0 to me. I mean, I'm not keeping score, but 1-0 to me.
You know? Yeah.
We'll move into the right back position then. Was this an easy one for you?
Not necessarily. Because there's been some good picks. I mean, the second half of the season last year, this season anyway, I think Trent's been unreal. I think he's really picked up as a candidate. I think Di Lorenzo at Napoli for last year, I think he was exceptional. And, obviously you've got like Hakimi at PSG, so a solid player. But my pick was Di Lorenzo for what he ended up doing at Napoli.
Yeah, I mean, my picks were kind of very heavily Serie A based. Di Lorenzo was one of them. Again, winning a Serie A for the first time in a long, long time, and he was solid. Got to the Champions League semi-final. The other player I considered was Matteo Darmian at Inter Milan. Again, got to a Champions League final, won a Coppa Italia, and is now top of Serie A, being one of their key players, playing both at centre-back and at right-back and at right wing-back. So very solid there. But the player I went with, just because he is solid and he's just consistent. And I think the fact that he has never got into a team of the year before, I don't think he's got into a team of the year before. I don't remember him doing it, was Kyle Walker. A few Man City players have to be in this team because he plays centre-backs, right side of centre-back, right back. He does that whole thing with Man City where he kind of starts the centre-back but then drifts into that right channel. So he's kind of a right back. I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm happy to concede to Di Lorenzo, but I think Walker, because of winning the treble, he's the kind of leader in that back line, in my opinion. So I think
Yeah,
he
no,
deserves a mention.
yeah, yeah, no, definitely this season anyway. Even though City haven't been necessarily as good, I think he started every single Premier League game this year, and if my mind remembers correctly, he started 22 for the entirety of last year, so he's already almost matched that already. Because now he's
Jesus.
the cap. Because now he's the captain, so
Yeah,
he's playing every single game.
he deserves
So
it. He is a top professional.
yeah,
And he won a treble last year. So I mean, I'm happy to concede it to Di Lorenzo. It's up to you, really, Lloyd. I'll leave
yeah,
this one up to you. I'll let you have it.
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna pick Di Lorenzo just because I thought he was just out of this world last season. I mean, this year little bit drop off. Obviously, Napoli not doing as well, but still a top fullback for me.
Yes, as I say, there is that drop off this year, but the fact that he won a Serie A after that much time, and got to a Champions League semi, wasn't it, against
Yeah.
Inter Milan?
Yes. Yeah.
There we go. So, yeah, happy to pop Di Lorenzo into our starting 11.
Mhm.
We'll go on to the centre backs. I'm just going to just blast through my list of names because I've got quite a few.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a quick, brief reason as to why I picked them. Ruben Diaz, triple winner.
Yeah.
Nicholas Otamendi, being one of the top clean sheet defenders in the Champions League last year and winning a title with Benfica. Tomori got to a Champions League final and won. Did he win something last year? I don't know. He didn't win anything last year. Tomori got to a Champions League semi-final. Kim Min-jae winning a league title with Napoli and got into a Champions League semi-final. And Akanji at Man City, again, winning a treble.
Yeah.
So what have you got anything different there to add into that list, Lloyd?
I'd give Saliba a mention. I know he didn't win anything last year, but I just would most of the time when I watch him, he's just rarely ever seems to make a mistake. Like it's just unreal for me that he doesn't seem to make that mistake.
He just seems so calm and composed.
Yeah,
Nothing seems
yeah,
to
that's
worry
the
him,
thing.
which is a credit. I mean, I think this conversation would be very different had Arsenal bottled the league.
Oh yeah, yeah,
there'd be a lot less Man City players, and there'd be a lot more. What's the word? Arsenal players in this team, for sure. But
no, totally. Yeah,
I mean, from those two, the two that I picked were Kim and Jay, and I actually went with Mauro Akanji, weirdly enough, rather than Ruben Diaz, who was the other option I considered. Mainly because if you look at his performances and his kind of ratings across last season, both in the Premier League and in Champions League, he just seemed to be a little bit better. I mean, it's based on I mainly looked at FOTMOB scores because they kind of Ruben Diaz is not they all rotate. Nobody's a guaranteed starter in that backline. It all rotates. And he just seemed to, the same number of games, but just seemed to edge it in terms of that rating, in my opinion. So I kind of went with him. And also, Kanji can cover at left back and in midfield. So he's done a lot more than Diaz, in my opinion. What about you, Lloyd? Did you go with Diaz or Kanji, or did you go for something completely different?
Yeah, I went for Kim Min-jae, first of all. So I think he's a certain in. I mean,
lock that in. Yeah, lock that one.
Yeah, in. brilliant at Napoli last year, and then he's continued that at Bayern. Very, very solid player. And yeah, I probably would have picked Diaz if he. I'm not sure what the numbers are between Diaz and Akanji, but I feel like I've seen more of Akanji in the second half of the season than Diaz.
Agreed.
But I'm not sure if that's right or wrong. But
I'll just see if I can grab a comparison so we can have a look.
Yeah.
So in the Champions League, hang on, bear with me whilst I just grab this. Did you pick Diaz then in your team?
Yeah. I just think he's an exceptional defender. I mean, he's not the fastest, but he just manages, he's very good on the ball, defensive awareness, wins all the headers, clearances, everything you want in a centre-back. He's a top player, and he's been a brilliant signing since coming in from Benfica. So, for me, he would be my centre-back partner with Kim Min-jae.
Yeah, he's played about the same number of minutes.
Yeah. I'm surprised at that because I haven't I can't remember. I mean, I haven't watched a huge amount of City. I've watched quite a bit, but not a tremendous amount.
This is the thing. I'm the same. I mean, it's very difficult to. They do very similar things, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's have a look in the Premier League this year. That might.
Yeah. I mean, well, look at it. Yeah, I mean, they've started the same amount of games actually in the league.
Let's if we can get rid of. Aha! Here we go. Here we go. And we'll get up a Kanji. We can have a look through.
Yeah.
And we'll go for 2023-24 season range to 2022-23. Here we go. So over the last 2 seasons, Akanji has played more games.
Yeah.
Kept the same number of clean sheets, but got 2 goals and an assist to Diaz's 0 of both. In terms of the defending stats, Akanji has conceded more goals, but made less blocks, less interceptions, but more tackles, more successful tackles, less clearances, less heady clearances, less aerial battles won, but less own goals.
Yeah.
What else have we got here? Let me have a look at their team play. That might be key in deciding this. Has a higher pass completion rate. Makes less passes forward, but makes more passes backwards. Less touches on the ball. Same number of through balls. Less crosses. Less dispossessed. So, actually, looking at this, Diaz does look like he has had
a better
underlying. If you look at the underlying numbers specifically, which
yeah,
seems to be because they seem to be about the same, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's just also the importance of a Kanji playing out wide as well, because obviously he can play anywhere across the back line.
Which is why his headed numbers and his interceptions aren't as high.
Aren't as good, yeah.
No, but his tackle numbers are much higher because he's going out and winning the ball. Stepping, which is what kind of throws it up a little bit. So do we penalise Kanji for that? Do you think, given it's a centre back position that we're trying to pick?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a centre back position, then I guess you sort of got to look at it and go, well, Diaz has played more games in centre back.
He has, on
a regular basis.
I mean, this series in terms of the Champions League, if you look at it, there are not actually many City players on here, but Ruben Diaz is the first one in terms of kind of tackles made and ball recoveries. Specifically, he's got 34.
Yeah.
And if you scroll down a little bit further, we'll just see if we can find our boy from Man City.
Yeah.
This is a tough one. Yeah, if you look at Akanji, he's only got 17. Made less tackles, He's got a higher tackle win percentage, but he's attempting it a lot less.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he's. I might have to switch that actually and go for Diaz. I think he's
yeah. I just think he's been unreal. I mean, brilliant signing and everything. I mean, as you said already, won the treble, but everything about him, yeah, he's a top centre back.
He is. I mean, I just wish that he'd get more games, but that he'd be that kind of first name on the team sheet. He deserves to be, but it just doesn't seem to be happening for him.
No, it feels like with Pep a lot, it's Haaland and then Rodri and Edison. And then everyone else seems to sort of get rotated. Even De Bruyne nowadays, like he doesn't start every game.
Well, they've got Bernardo Silva, who's incredible, who can just operates in the same space, like it's mad. I mean, it does mean if anyone gets injured, they're not fucked at any point. Which is
yeah. I mean, they've had Haaland out, they've had De Bruyne out, and they're 5 points off the top with a game in hand. So
I think even Edison's missed some games. I'm pretty sure I've seen Arteta play a couple.
Yeah, I think he has done.
Which is it's brave from Pep, but I understand why he's doing it. Okay, then let's go with Diaz in that centre back position there, just because his defensive stats seem a bit better, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Left back. What are your options? Because I kind of threw a rogue one in here as well, and I'm kind of considering putting him in. So, in terms of our safe options, Nathan Ake played on that left-hand side basically as a left back most of the season. I know it's difficult to put it down with Man City. The guy that I went with was DiMarco from Inter Milan. Again, semi-final and a Coppa Italia win. final, sorry. But the guy I'm kind of tempted to swap him out for, just to be a bit weird, is Grimaldo from Benfica. I'm really considering putting Grimaldo in this team because, like, his performances he got to a Champions League. Was it a semi or was it a quarter? I forget with Benfica.
I think it was quarters. Yeah. Oh, and then with the Milan thing, I think it was actually Inter versus AC in the semis. I think it was. I think Napoli got knocked out quarters.
I might have been. Hang on, bear with me. Here we go. That's going to help us. So Real Madrid got to a semi, Manchester City got to a semi, Inter Milan and AC Milan got to a semi.
Yeah.
Benfica got to a quarter and got knocked out by Inter Milan by 2 goals because they drew 3-3 and then lost 2-0 to Inter Milan. Unfortunately, but they were able to beat Club Brugge in the round of 16, and again they won their league. And Grimaldo was the kind of the third most goals plus assists, best rated player in this Portuguese league that year, and he won a league title. I feel like a league title, even if it is the Portuguese league, I actually rate the Portuguese league rather highly at this point, but kind of beats a League Cup when. Actually, did they get knocked out at the same stage? Yeah, they did. They got knocked out at the same stage by a Milan club. So I'm kind of tempted to put Groundhog in. And then if you look at this season, I know Inter Milan are top of the league, but so are Bayer Leverkusen, where he went. And DeMarco's not their best player. He's a good player, but he's not their best player. Grimaldo is considerably their best player, in my opinion. Him and Frimpong on those wing positions. So I kind of want to put him in. What are your thoughts, Lloyd?
Grimaldo's my pick, actually. Grimaldo is my pick.
Great minds.
Yeah, no, I just think, like, the left back position is so interesting because there's sort of a lack of, let's say, at the minute right now, of consistent performers at an incredibly high level. And yeah, Grimaldo's doing that. I mean, the man's scoring free kicks for Bayer Leverkusen, going up and down the wing, putting balls in, scoring screamers, everything like that. And he's been doing that at Benfica for a long time. I mean, he's been a top left back for a while. So yeah, no, he's my pick. I mean, I considered other people like Theo Hernandez, who is one of the best left backs in the world. I think he's a top player. But yeah, I mean, I'm quite happy to put Grimaldo in because he's been brilliant.
Yeah, I'm conceding to you for this one. I was like, should I put him in? Should I not? I went with the safe option in DeMarco in the end, but happy to concede. I mean, it's just I don't think we should be locked into the FIFA option. That's the kind of thing I wanted to make a point of here. Is just like in FIFA, Theo Hernandez would have got in, despite the fact he didn't win anything and he only got to a Champions League semi-final. Compared to the kind of the other options we've got here, he was not the best left back, but because he plays best in FIFA, everyone puts him in.
Yeah.
He's a great left back, and don't get me wrong, he is he's one of the top 3, maybe 4 in the world. But for me, based on last year alone, if you look at the achievements of Benfica and Grimaldo and Bayer Leverkusen, I think there aren't any better options.
No.
Yeah. So let's put him in there. So for the first time in a long time, a Benfica player has got into the team of the year, at least for the Blue Show, anyway. So let's move into the midfield zone. I kind of just went with 3 centre mids here. I didn't look at defensive or progressive in this case. Not
right. Yeah.
Although it is rather balanced in my opinion. It's okay. I'll read out the options I've got. So, in no particular order, Hakan Çalhanoğlu,
right?
Coppa Italia Champions League Champions League final. Sorry, what am I on about? Bruno Fernandes, most creative player in the Premier League last season, won a Carabao Cup, was our best player. Rodri, treble winner, Spaniard. Kevin De Bruyne. Jude Bellingham, and I went with Gundogan as well.
Yeah.
Any other shouts, Lloyd?
Joshua Kimmich from Bayern.
Yes. He did win a Bundesliga last year, in all fairness. Did he win a What was the German Shield called? I forget.
I don't think they won the DFB Pokal. I think that's what it is.
Why did I think I'm supposed to be a Bundesliga expert? What's the? What's wrong with me today? DFB Pokal was won by. It still started showing up with this season's one.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Yeah,
Champions League RB Leipzig. It was RB.
Yeah. I didn't think he won.
No, it wasn't him, unfortunately.
No.
But he did win.
Yeah.
How did he get on in the Champions League? Where did Bayern get knocked out?
Was it Man City?
It was to Man City in the quarters.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. About that. That's a good shout that I didn't really consider. And it's certainly something I think we should talk about. I will tell you who I went with. We'll go from there.
Yeah.
I went with Gundogan.
Yeah.
Because of those 2 goals in the FA Cup final. I think he had a clearer impact on that Man City team than he went to play for Barcelona, a good team for the back half of the year.
Yeah.
I'm not going to disrespect Rodri because his grandmother just died, so rest in peace and hope everything's well with your family.
Yeah.
But I don't. As a footballer, I don't like you. As a person, I'm sure you're lovely. As a person, I'm sure you're lovely, and I send my respects and love and all that. But as a footballer, you play for Man City, and I don't like you. So Gundogan's easier to stomach. So we'll go with that. Kevin De Bruyne, because like as much as I don't like Man City, some things are hard to ignore. So Kevin De Bruyne went in for me, and then Jude Bellingham for his back half of the fact that he's top of La Liga now, and carrying the greatest club of all time.
Yeah.
The top Champions League winner, top La Liga winner. Yeah, I don't look past what he is able to do at how young he is. The fact that he won an individual award, which was the Copper Trophy. Is it called the Copper Trophy? I think it is. For the young player of the year. Yeah. So I think I put him in just because of kind of his personal achievements and kind of how he's looked in the back half. He's not won any trophies, but that's only because it's the back half of the year, the first half of the season and the back half of the year where he's really pushed on. But I think his performances, it's one of the few players where I'm like, his performances deserve to put him ahead of some of these other players who have won some trophies this year.
Yeah.
But I didn't think of Kimmich.
No. Yeah, I thought of him because I was like, I had 2 midfielders, and I was like, yeah, these 2 are certain for me. They're definitely going to go in. And then I was trying to think of a third one. I was like, who can I have? And then I remember Kimmich, and I was like, how have I forgotten him? He's such a top player for Bayern. One of their most important, if not the most important player at the club. I mean, he's just an unreal footballer. I mean,
absolutely incredible. Future captain, in my opinion. Did you see that Man City were going to line up a £25 million bid for him in the summer?
25?
Yep, on Twitter, official 25.
What, is his contract expiring or something? What was going on there?
I don't know, but I don't know if even if his contract was expiring, you'd expect a bit more than 25 million for a player of his caliber.
You don't know. No way Bayern would be accepting that. No chance.
I've no idea how this has been allowed to go out. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, £25 million for Kimmich. No way.
Mad.
No way.
But are you happy with the picks then? De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bellingham, or do you want to throw someone else in?
Rodri, for me, as much as you don't want to put him in.
He was incredible. He
is unreal.
I think if you look at Gundogan and Rodri, I put them very similarly on the kind of performance basis, and I also think Gundogan made an impact in a fight. Oh, but then Rodri won the Champions League.
Rodri scored the goal in the final as well.
I forgot about that. Damn it. I mean, Gundogan scored twice. They were both screamers, so you know.
Yeah. I mean, my midfield 3 was Rodri, Kimmich, Bellingham. So we had one.
No De Bruyne.
No, the only reason I didn't have him in was because he's been out since August.
Yeah, but what he did in the first half of the season.
I know. It's just, as a year as a whole, he's an unbelievable player, best midfielder in the world, at what he does. Yeah, I didn't consider him because he's been injured since August. He had to come off in the Champions League final, right? I think it was.
Yeah, but that was the start of it. There wasn't anything before that, I don't think.
No, yeah.
Didn't miss anything else.
No, see, that was the only thing for me because it was like, you've sort of been injured since like June. and then he came back again in August, and then he got injured again. So that was the reason why I didn't consider him. But yeah, I mean, he's the top player. But
I mean, what we could do, I think, we could try and swap out one. If you had to pick one between Rodri and Kimmich, who'd you go for?
Rodri for me.
Rodri. So
Yeah.
we can either take out Gundogan or De Bruyne. What do you think? It's tough. I mean,
it's so tough. Who are you leaning towards?
I'm leaning towards Gundogan just because De Bruyne, when he was playing, was just the top, either the best player in the world or one of the top three.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy to get rid of either of the two. I think Rodri has to be in a.
Okay, we'll go with Rodri over Gundogan then in this case. I forgot he scored that goal in the Champions League final.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way you can drop De Bruyne from this team just because of how good he is when he does play.
Yeah.
But okay, I could see Gundogan for Rodri. We'll go with Bellingham, Rodri, De Bruyne.
De Bruyne, some midfield.
It's not bad midfield. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, mad. But let's move into the forward line then.
Yeah.
This is going to get spicy because I feel like there's one player who has to be in.
Right.
And then I don't know if I've gone rogue with my two shouts, but they aren't the big names that you would normally expect. So why don't you? I'll let you lead off this time. Why don't you tell us front three and any players?
Front three. Right. Well, to fit the three, I've got Mbappe on the left. First of all, for me, well, I just think he's unreal. I mean, last season, I think he ended up scoring more goals than any other player in Europe in 2023. Oh, more than Haaland, because obviously he had his injury issues a little bit. So for me, I was like, right, he's going in. Then I had Haaland up top as my striker, just because, yeah, I mean, what he did in his first season, and then he's still doing it. I mean, he's still top goal scorer in the Premier League. He's been injured for like 3-4 weeks. He's tied with Salah at the minute. But yeah, Haaland's been out for like almost a month now. Like incredible. And then on the right, I looked at options and I thought it's got to be the best right winger in the world. It's got to be Salah on the right for me. It's got to be Salah. I was looking at the options and I was like, I don't know who can play on the right. Like who?
Oh, my friend.
Who else?
Who else?
Have I had a stinker? Is there somebody who's been better than him?
I just don't know. I don't. Oh, right. Okay. Let's everyone take a deep breath. Right. Okay. Right. Let's just start off by saying this. Okay. Salah was in my options. I did not pick him because there's no way you can pick him, in my opinion.
Right.
I also made another rogue shout.
Okay.
There's no Kylian Mbappe in my front three.
Wow.
There is no Kylian Mbappe in my front three, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So, actually, let me start by telling you who my options were, who I picked.
Yeah.
Get some context.
That would probably help me out. Yeah.
Haaland was in, and the two players I considered alongside him was Lewandowski. Barcelona won a league title, and he got a load of goals. And Harry Kane, who was the third, joint second top goal scorer in the league of all time in 2023, didn't win anything. So that's why I didn't get in. But the Tottenham curse is travelled to Bayern. It's travelled to Munich.
No, I mean he was in my considerations as well, Kane. I feel like it's quite unfortunate to miss out, even if he didn't win anything.
52 goals in a year is pretty impressive.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but it doesn't make it in because Erling Haaland won a treble and was incredible and set a new goal scoring record. I think I forget what it is.
Yeah.
On the right, Salah was an option. The other option that I didn't put in was Lionel Messi. Now that might come as a surprise because I put him in my team of the year for his personal performances and because it's Messi and because he won, he's won FIFA Best and all that. When I looked at as a team performance here, there was a player who I thought deserved to be better, mainly because what did Messi win? They didn't win a Champions League last year.
No,
they did a pretty poor Champions League campaign. Left for Miami halfway through the season, halfway of the year because of the season ended. Went to Miami. Wasn't their best player, and won a league title, but that was about it. And they nearly lost that. They nearly didn't win that. It was like a
Yeah.
So I went with somebody else, who I'll tell you in a second. And then over on the left-hand side, Mbappe was one of the options. Rafael Leao was the other. Again, didn't win anything, but I thought was one of the most creative players in the world last season, so deserved a mention. I wasn't really thrilled with the left-wing options, actually, other than the player I went with, and Mbappe, if you play him out there. But my wingers are Vinicius Jr.
Oh, right. Yeah.
and Kvaratskhelia.
Oh, over Salah and
over
Mbappe.
Salah. Well, first of all, Salah didn't win anything. Let's make that perfectly clear.
Right,
Salah
from
won
March
nothing.
to December, he was unreal. I mean,
did not win a single trophy.
No, he did not. No.
And he did not win the best player in the world. He did not win the young best player in the world. So for me, not really a person I could put in.
Okay.
Kvaratskhelia won a Serie A title with Napoli, and at that point, he was the only Napoli player in my team. So I thought we had to represent them a little bit. Got to a Champions League semi, and if you look at, it's the same over on the left actually. Vinicius won a Copa del Rey and got to a Champions League semi. If you look at PSG's performance, and this is what tipped it over the edge for me, the PSG performance last year was shocking. They got knocked out in the round of 16 to Bayern Munich, where they scored a grand total of 0 goals in 2 games. They only won a league and title, which, as we know, is rather easy for them to win, and they almost lost it. Didn't win the League Cup because that got won by Toulouse randomly. They haven't won one in like 3 years. It's mental. So I thought Kvaratskhelia, Serie A title, Champions League semi-final, did way better. So won a league title and did better. Vinicius won a cup and did better in the Champions League. But if you look at his statistics in the Champions League last season, he was the second most creative player in the league behind De Bruyne, and he didn't even take any corners. He completed the most dribbles in the competition as well. Guess who was second? Kvaratskhelia. Mbappe did half as many and played less games. Ridiculous. And then it's just there was something else I wanted to have a look at as well. I forget what it was. Let's have a look. Where are we? I think it was just his pass completion numbers was way higher as well. Yeah, right. So, and then this season, of course, in terms of creativity, I'm not seeing either of them on this list. Vinicius, there you go. Vinicius was with 2 and 50. So he's one of the top dribblers again, but not the best this year so far.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not seeing Mbappe on this list at all. I don't know where he's gone. So I just thought he was the top. He was the top 3 goals and assists in the Champions League last season. He was the best player in that Real Madrid team who came second and won a Copa del Rey. Mbappe scored a lot of goals, don't get me wrong, but he didn't do anything with it. And Messi, again, only had half a season, so I think it's easier to push Messi out. But yeah, I just don't think PSG's performance is deserving of any inclusions this year. For me, I don't think Mbappe's done enough. I know he scored a lot of goals, but it's not. You could score a lot of goals and still lose. You could score 5.
Yeah, no. Of course. I just think, more, as much as love Salah, brilliant player. If I was to concede one of them, it would be him because I had Mbappe as my player of the year.
You did put him as your player of the year. I just don't.
I put him in as my player of the year.
Are we doing that based on his name alone, though? Is that what we're doing?
No, I don't think so. See, the thing is, for me, I tend to lean towards when I look at the players, how the players are performing rather than the trophies won. Because other people lean towards the other side of it, and that's totally fine. But I tend to lean towards that. So that's why, Kane was in my top 3, despite not winning anything, because he scored that amount of goals. So,
same amount as Mbappe. I've got the numbers up here. It's 52 goals each.
Yeah.
But in that regard, if we're just going off goals, then where's Cristiano Ronaldo? 53.
Yeah, but
there's a reason why. There's a reason why Ronaldo was not even considered for me. There is a reason why that is the case.
Yeah.
Because he plays in Saudi Arabia.
Exactly. Yeah.
And because when he was in England, Was he with us for that Carabao Cup win? I forget when he
No,
left.
no, I think he was gone by then.
Yeah, he'd already
January.
gone.
Yeah, he'd already gone.
He spent the
Yeah,
whole year in Saudi Arabia. So
yeah.
again, like I know it's good and all these players going there. It's not a good league. It's not a good league in the slightest.
No. It's the quality. The quality of the league isn't the best, and then you look at the attendance numbers as well. I know that doesn't determine how good the players are, but like you've got
Or
seven
how good
hundred
the league
people.
is.
Yeah, you've
But
got like 700 people turning up to matches. That's like less than a national league attendance, right?
exactly. So there's a reason why he doesn't get in. There's a reason why I don't think Mbappe should get in because as
Right.
much as he was better off and is a deserved option in this list because of um,
Individually,
excuse
yeah.
me, the league title win. Still, it's not enough. When Vinicius has won more, and if you look at his numbers, was a better player in the top division. The Champions League, I think, is the main thing I looked at because it is the premier competition that was competed on this year, and Vinicius was in the top three players of the division.
Yeah, no, I'm not. No, I wouldn't necessarily say
If you,
getting over Vinicius.
I just, if you look at the kind of key stats, in my opinion, right, in terms of goals, Vinicius scored the same number, 7 each,
Yeah.
got more assists, 6,
Hmm.
covered more distance, um, got through further in the competition. Like they got
Yeah.
through to a semi-final. PSG got knocked out in the round of 16. And then if you look at his dribble numbers as well, one of the
Yeah.
most creative players in the league. Um, so for me, there is no way that you can ignore that. Played better, same number of trophies, did better in the best competition in the world.
Yeah. No. No, I do. I do see that. No, I totally get that.
I mean, Kvaratskhelia is less
Yeah. I
easy
mean,
to
Mbappe
defend.
can play on the right. I mean,
I mean, he got 2 goals and 4 assists.
yeah.
Had more the better dribble numbers, same as Vinicius. Won a Serie A, as well as
Yeah.
getting to that title. So again, it's the same number of trophies. My main thought was that more though I wanted Napoli represented because of that history. It's not just the league title; it's the first league title in a
No.
long
Yeah.
time.
No. Totally. I mean, we've got two players in here from Napoli already, don't we? With Di Lorenzo
Yes.
and Kim Min Jae.
Oh, I forgot about Kim Min Jae because of course he plays for Bayern now. But the fact that we got Di
Yeah.
Lorenzo in, I'm happy to concede Kvaratskhelia, but I just thought
Yeah. No.
an
No. I totally
actual
get your
winger.
point.
He kind of played
No,
left.
I do get your
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
I just feel
Mbappe did
like
score more
for
goals.
me, Mbappe is just like I don't know. He's
I'm just
such a
concerned
threat, and the
about whether or not
numbers.
we're putting him in based on the name alone.
No, I don't think it's necessarily on the name alone because he's did very, very well in the league. It's just necessarily about what team and how far teams go in the competition. Like, would you say that PSG are a better team than Bayern? Probably not.
No,
So, like, that's
no,
probably why they got knocked out round of 16.
but I'd put them on the same level. I'd say they're on the same level because they're the types of teams that PSG need to beat if they want to win a Champions League. They need to be beating
Oh,
the Bayerns
definitely,
and
definitely.
the Inter Milans and the Real Madrids and the unfortunately Man
Yeah,
Cities. So
that's
I'll
why I think he needs to leave.
I will. Oh yeah, that's a whole other debate that we need to get into
Yeah,
another
yeah,
episode.
exactly.
But
Yeah,
go on then. I'll concede Kvaratskhelia to play Mbappe on the
go and play
right.
Mbappe. Yeah,
Okay. I mean, it's a bit of a. I'm not too keen on this one, but I'll concede it to keep Vinicius in. I think he had a better, despite only winning a cup. I think he had a better year than Kvaratskhelia. So we'll go with Vinicius.
right. Yeah,
So our final team in goal,
yeah,
we went with Thibaut Courtois.
yep,
Our right back is Di Lorenzo. Our centre backs are Kim Min Jae and Ruben Diaz. Our left back is Grimaldo. Our central midfielders are Bellingham, De Bruyne, and Rodri, leaving our front three to be Vinicius, Haaland, and Mbappe.
yeah.
Are we happy with that?
Very happy. I like the sound of that. I think
Yeah,
that's a powerful team.
that's our official Blue Podcast team. So if any of the other hosts have a problem with it, they can, come on the episode next time. get invited on. You need to make sure you're invited onto the episode this week, and you can have an impact. But I feel like it's a pretty concise team. I think like most people will agree. If you don't agree, drop a message down below. If there's anybody big that we missed out, I don't think there is. But if there is, let us know. We'll have to consider it for next year, depending on their performance.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I'm happy with that as our as our team. There's a few names that wish were in there, but I'm happy we've got no
Yeah.
Liverpool players in the team, so that's something.
Oh, that is something because obviously I put two up, but
And I was like, got them both out. I mean, this is me cheering. There's no United players. There's only one got mentioned. So
yeah,
two got mentioned.
two got mentioned. Yeah,
But not for his performances at Man United.
no, his performances at Inter.
Mad. But that is the end of this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed. First one back, 2024. We've got a ton of cool stuff coming up over the next few days and weeks that we're going to announce and bring to you all. And then come the end of January, we're back in the studio for regular performances with the Red Show and the Purple Show, and then of course more Blue shows with me, Tom, and the rest of the guys, Lloyd and some of the others. New faces as well coming on as well, so we'll bring you all that soon. Thanks again, Lloyd, for joining me today.
No worries, but thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope everyone watching has as well.
Yes, don't forget to leave your team of the years in the comment section below, as well as any thoughts or queries you have. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.